Alright, welcome everybody. Welcome to today's video. Sorry to keep you waiting, but we're going to talk about the Nemesis Lasso, the new time capsule iconic that just dropped. So, um, it's a channel. It lasts for 10 seconds. There's a superpower modifier of 5 seconds, and the damage is capped at 200% of your might. Any targets that their health drops to below 50%.
That's fine. I'm gonna.
They're gonna
right
instantly
now.
be judged, and then they're going to be an instant kill. So that's just briefly touching on it. We're gonna get more into depth into it after the footage. So we're gonna watch the footage now, and then we'll get into the big discussion about this art after that. Excuse me, about this iconic after this.
Like, I really want to watch it.
Okay, so that was a look at the iconic for everyone who hasn't seen it yet. So, let's just be clear about the testing. So what I did in all of this was I only used Fiery Weapon, and I used the Nemesis Lasso. That was it in the open world, and that was it when testing on the sparring target. So I didn't use anything else. So let's touch the elephant in the room. So the glitch where you can get hundreds of millions of damage, that only happens on the sparring targets. When you first go into combat on any of the sparring targets, the first lasso will do that 100 million damage every time. So I have about 20 minutes of clips where I ran to every single sparring target, and every one of them will hit over 100 million except for the single targets. The single targets max out about 24 million, and that's just casting the iconic and then instantly hitting melee to go ahead and pull the enemy. So It doesn't hit that hard in the open world, but it does hit in the open world pretty hard. Now also, since we're talking about what was done there, so as I was saying, in the open world it was strictly just the iconic and fiery weapon. It wasn't anything else. So for what this was, this hits really hard for just one move. So if you let it hit the 10 stacks, so if you cast a move, it actually does 11 hits. The first thing that we note that I put in here was that it does Supercharge Regen. So it regens 37 Supercharge per hit, every tick. So there's 11 ticks the initial cast, and then there's 10 ticks after that. So that gives you the 407 or whatever the number was regen, and that's actually pretty good. That and combined with the damage is actually pretty great. Also with this iconic, the mobility with this iconic is really great also. You're not stuck in one place as in when you're casting Omega. For fire we have absorb heat, and we can move forward pretty fast. We can move left and right. Backwards you move pretty slow. So it's similar to Star Blast or Star Bolt for those who have that, where you can move around the map while you have it, but you won't move that fast because you are tethered to an ad or an enemy, should I say. The range on this iconic is broken. If you lock onto the target, and you can run all the way across the map, and as long as you can see the ad, as long as you're locked on and you can see the enemy, you can cast the lasso and still get the damage. As I showed in the sparring target, I was all the way across the other side of the map. It goes further than the Star Bolt ability. So it's pretty great range. It's probably broken and probably be fixed in a ninja patch. Okay, so now let's talk about when you bind the enemy. So let's read it. Unleash the Nemesis lasso to bind the target, stunning them and forcing them to face the weight of their sins. While bound, they suffer damage each second as their guilt intensifies. When the lasso is released, their accumulated sins erupt outward, dealing area damage to all nearby enemies based on the total damage inflicted during the bind from all sources, capped at the percentage of your might. Weaker enemies are then instantly judged and defeated if their health drops below a threshold. Okay, so let's unpack that. When it says that you bind them and stun them, forcing them to face the weight of their sins. So basically when you bind them and you attack them, they're getting damage dealt to them. Almost like a dot, but not really a dot. So that's the first part. The second and the most important part of that is that where it says based on the total damage inflicted during the bind from all sources, capped at a percentage of your might. So as you've seen, I showed in the open world where I was with 3 other allies. I showed where I was with 7 other allies, and then I showed in the House of Legend where I was with 2 DPSs. So the more damage that was put out from my allies, the more damage that was dealt to Leshy and the sparring targets. So let's go here and look at this. So this right here shows when I had the 2 additional DPS helping me out in the House of Legends. So you can see where it said the sparring target, Nemesis lasso damage sparring target for 253,166, and it increases. So this is when they were doing damage to the sparring target, single target one. I was doing nothing but just holding the lasso. You see how it hit for the 4 million, and then it hit for 360,000, then it hit for 3 million again, then 769,000, and then almost 3 million again. So their damage was accumulating, and it was going towards me and the output that I was doing, basically, because it was just they were damaging the sparring target, and the target in turn was reading as my damage. So I think this is beneficial to power sets where they may be lacking in a little bit of damage, and you are in there with some high damage power sets, and they're running through the raid or alert, and especially in boss battles, if the boss has a lot of health and somebody casts this, they'll get additional damage. Now it's not a 1-for-1. You know, every damage that they do, you're getting their damage. It's a percentage of that, but it's supposed to be capped at 200% of your might. I don't know if that's really accurate on how that works, but you definitely can see, you know, I'm hitting 3 million, 4 million every other second, which is pretty great and fantastic for not doing anything, for just hitting one move. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the instantly judged. When the surrounding ads die from the main ad that you're targeting. So if you see it says corrupted, Leshy, knocked out Sorrow. The reason that they were knocked out is because above that it says corrupted Leshy's Nemesis Lasso damage Sorrow construct for X amount. So the weight of their sins damaged the outer enemies, and because their health dropped below the 50%, they were damaged and they just instantly were knocked out. And as I said before, and hopefully the video shows that well, I didn't do any other moves. The only thing that I was doing was just the lasso, and as you can see from the damage right here, they were just getting damaged by my teammates, but this was also damaging them as well. So just for one move and you get all this damage and you knock out some enemies, I mean, this is a super powerful iconic in my opinion. Maybe a little bit better than Starbolt, just simply because of the utility of it. So now we're going to talk about if this is a group iconic. In my opinion, it's definitely the first of its kind and a group iconic, because the art by itself, it does well. It does pretty good damage. I didn't even try it with the rotation yet. It simply was just trying out the iconic itself and seeing what damage it can do. So just by itself, it does great damage. And in a loadout, because I ran with Mr. Kills earlier, and he showed me a rage loadout with it, and it does well with loadouts as well. But if you have a good group and you're running content and they're doing good damage, I mean, this could help clear raids a lot faster. SCSE, I'm definitely wanting to try this in there and see what it would do against Granny, because I could see clearing a lot of older content a lot faster. So in my opinion, this is just not a one person iconic. It's not a bat swarm. This is actually something that's beneficial to the group, and with a good group it's helpful for everybody. So I'm going to classify this as a group iconic and something new that the devs have done. And that's pretty much this new iconic. I definitely have to say thank you to Mr. Kills and Shield, because I was shouting in House of Legends to try to get some people to help me test this in the House of Legends, and they came through and did a great job, so I appreciate it much. If you guys watch this, thank you much. I appreciate it. With that being said, I think this is a pretty good iconic. I think this iconic itself, just the iconic, is good for the game. It's good for the community. Now the implementation of this iconic, I think, is terrible. Running it through time capsules, it's horrible. I bought 200 capsules on Aiden, and we got most of the time capsule feats complete with 100, but through opening all the time capsules that I ended up opening up, I never got the rarest collection for the iconic. I had to buy that from the broker. I did get a lot of the other ones and was able to, you know, make enough money back that I didn't really see it, but that's not the point. The point is that, you know, the drop rates are terrible. Just having drop rates for a power is terrible altogether. They should have just did an event, or, you know, no, they should have just done an event. So that I'm not a fan of, and I think it's something that they need to probably relook at. I know it's about making money, but you know, they've been making money off us for years, and they could put a little bit more into the game, in my opinion. But let me not go off on a tangent. So I know this was a longer video, so my apologies for that. Hope it was enjoyable, hope it was helpful. Drop a like. Next video come out, I'll start doing the orbital, start showing that and doing some damage testing with that, with Dead King Scepter, and see where we're at with that. But anyway, thank you guys, I appreciate you watching, and have a good one. See you in the game.